Hello, I am Ryan, your host of Anime Nation, and this week we're talking my all-time favorite anime genre. Not shonen, not that. We're talking romance animes. And to talk romance animes with me this week, I got the Attack on Titan lore master herself, Fee. How you doing today, Fee?
I'm doing so great. I'm so excited to talk all things romance anime.
Oh, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time.
So excited.
And we're adding a fun new little segment to this episode today. Anime history. What got you into anime? How'd you become to what you are today?
Oh dear God. The Mega Weeb. Just joking. I got into it. I remember specifically when I was 6 years old. My mom got a bunch of cassette tapes and different VHSs, and one of them was Kiki's Delivery Service. I watched that until that VHS broke. Like rest in peace, that VHS. I adored it. And then I just tried to find as much as I could. Animation wise, I was really into like Pokemon and stuff like that. But then I was introduced to like more or less like less mainstream stuff at the time, and we're talking like early 2000s, like late 1990s. So I was into Card Capture Sakura for a little bit. I then also got into like Inuyasha as well, trying to explain to my mom that Inuyasha was specifically about Japanese mythology and lore, and trying to explain like this is why I should be able to watch this show. It was an interesting time to say the least. Kinda got her on board, but then she saw the violence, so she wasn't too thrilled, but that's fine. But yeah, I was really into Studio Ghibli movies. My goodness, Nausicaa Valley of the Wind, Spirited Away. Watched that so many different times, and then probably mid 2000s is when I got access to like I was babysitting late at night, so I was able to watch Inuyasha without my mother being like, "Oh my god, there's violence," and then the introdu having the ability to go on the internet and read manga and watch anime as much as I want. And it really like I will admit I was definitely a closet anime watcher in high school because it wasn't cool then. But now it is, and I'm
No,
a
it
little
was not.
I'm jealous now because everyone's just like, "I watch Attack on Titan." I'm like, "Okay, kid, like, congratulations. Like, you
You
were,
have to
like,
keep
only
that
able
hidden
to."
like the rest of us.
Yeah. No, I'm happy that it's a lot more mainstream now, but at the time, I just goodness, it was a lot of keeping it very quiet, reading manga after school, and even when I bought manga before it was cool, I would just buy it and then not talk about it with anybody. So, it was definitely a secret fascination and something I was really into, and then I've just continuously grown through then, but yeah, it was a lot of, like, honestly, like, slice of life, cutesy animes. I wasn't really into, like, Dragon Ball Z, mostly because I wasn't watching it, but it was a lot of, like, of the, "Oh, it's Sailor Moon, it's Cardcapture Sakura," it's, like, really cutesy stuff, and then getting into, like, more, like, gore and
Mhm.
adult stuff.
So
But yeah.
we may share something here in that we're from the era of where it was more difficult to find anime. So you had to read some fan dubs,
Mhm.
watch some fan translations, all that good stuff. The bright neon green font.
Mm,
Oh
yep.
yeah.
Watching, like, 10-second like, watching, like, 7-minute, like, portions of an episode.
On
And
YouTube,
then, like
yeah.
yeah, and then
Yep.
sometimes because one was a little bit too gory, that particular scene was cut off, so you had to go into Google into, like, the darkness and trying to find that one scene. You're just like, "God," trying to watch Elfen Lied in the, like, mid-2000s was legitimately the worst thing if you didn't have the actual DVDs because you're just like,
Oh my
I
god, it
girls try to
was.
try to rip girls apart with, like, their, like, invisible hands. And
Yeah,
YouTube
I just
being like,
remember
"You're not
seeing,
allowed."
like, gifs of it, but never being able to find it till
Yeah.
years later when I remember being like, "Oh, that's this show. I remembers this show."
Yeah,
Fantastic
it's
opening, by the way.
oh my god, absolutely phenomenal. Like, using Gustav Klimt's artwork and like, using it at like, integrated into the anime, like,
Ah, fantastic.
so good.
But I'm glad you're also from that era of the fan dub, the Toonami, the you brought up one of my favorites, which is the original 4 Kids called Captain Sakura dub,
Yeah.
which is just oh fantastic.
Oh my god, and the whole, like, time when you would just be, like, like, when I was babysitting at night, and then, like, all of a sudden, you just like, "Bokutashi wa" like, really loudly, the ending of Inuyasha, and you're like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
You're like, "Where's the remote?"
Nothing will send me back like the ending of Inuyasha.
Oh my god. It's so good. I highly recommend it for anybody. If you need an alarm clock, just get that particular ending.
Oh, I thought you meant Inuyasha. I'm like, I honestly don't know if I can recommend Inuyasha anymore. Like,
Oh,
I don't know if that show holds up.
I watched it recently. It is very difficult to actually find it right now because they have the first 2 seasons on Netflix. They have the first, I think, 2 seasons on Crunchyroll, and then that's it. Like, 3 through 7, who knows? But no,
The
the
first 2
endings were
seasons aren't even that
phenomenal.
good.
No.
You don't get to meet his brother yet.
You get to a little bit, and then they show, like, Kuga, and you have to, like, spend forever to actually find, like, Super Cool Girl, which is, um oh my god, why can I not remember her Sango! I love Sango. Like, Kagome, whatever. Like, Kikyo, shut the hell up, girl. Go back to where you were. And then you just have Sango, and you're like, "Finally, a girl who's not like, 'Oh my god, I love you, Inuyasha,' like, constantly." That's my thoughts on Inuyasha, by the way. But yeah, that's my history.
Well, fantastic. I'm glad we also got your thoughts on Inuyasha. Now I'm trying to figure out who Songo is because I don't remember.
She's the girl, from the Demon Slayer village who had the massive, boomerang.
Oh, yes, the giant boomerang. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I remember now. Fantastic. All right, and now let's move into the big topic of the show, romance animes and why they are fantastic.
Oh my god. They're
Fee,
so
do you
good.
want to start us off with your first anime you're bringing to the table?
I I thought I would bring actually my very first romance, like, pretty much, like, specifically this is romance, like, yeah, there's Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor Sakura
Yeah.
has a little bit of it, but meh. But my very first one was His and Her Circumstance, which is a slice of
Oh,
life,
a classic.
a classic. My That was actually my very first manga. I remember I was at Chapters with my mom, and she's like, "You can pick 1 book." And I'm like, "This is really, really pretty." And so I took it home, I read it, like, in 1 sitting. For me, I thought that was fantastic because I was, like, super young at the time, and then just getting through God, it was definitely, like, this is where you're meant to be kind of thing because it's romance anime and manga, just, like, it's so cutesy, I love slice of life. Like, it's always kind of just, like, a nice soothing time. Like, yes, there's going to be drama, yes, there's going to be, like, some hurdles, but it was definitely, 1, a classic, and 2, just, like, the artwork for the time was fantastic, and being so relatable at the time as well, even though I was younger, and then once I got into high school, I definitely related to it even further, and then once we got to the end of the manga is when they were just becoming adults, they were going into university, so kinda just growing up with that particular romance, um,
Mhm.
manga and the anime was just, like, a really nice way to do it. Also, I just loved the characters, and it was, like, really interesting to see something that was animated but realistic because for the time that, like, the early
Ye
2000s,
yeah,
all you saw was,
yeah.
like, animated was usually like, "Oh, it's song and dances. Oh, it's all silly," but this was very much like, "This is realistic. This is all of the things that happen in, His and Her Circumstance could happen in real life." So it
And
was
even like we were talking earlier with your anime history, at that time
Mhm,
it was shows like Dragon Ball, it was shows like Inuyasha, all that kind of thing,
mhm,
where it wasn't really this kind of anime, it was big action scenes and over the top comedy and all that. So for
oh
a
yeah.
show like this, definitely. And just for some of our viewers, because yeah, that I'll admit that's a deep cut. I was not expecting to hear about his and her circumstance today. Give us a little gist of the plot, a little reason why to watch, reason why to look at it.
Reason why to watch, it is about, 2 particular characters. Why can I not remember their names off the top of my head? I'm absolutely abysmal, and I currently have information up in front of me, which I should have had a little bit further info, but it's about 2 particular characters in high school. One is my goodness, let me bring this up.
Unio and Sasomi?
Yes, it is about their
Touch
relationship.
Toucheroo? I
Oh my
forget.
god, let me see. It it's been forever and a day since I've watched this particular anime. But yeah, it's about the most popular girl in school. She's super smart, athletic, but then you find out outside of school she's very much different. And the kind of is a lot of other characteristics of herself. But then she also meets a guy who goes to school who's also very smart, also very much like athletic, and she's constantly trying to be his rival when he's just like, I'm just living my life. She's just trying to constantly struggle with this and trying to deal with the fact she's not the number one anymore. But this kind of another reason why I specifically selected this one is see this a lot in modern day like romance anime and manga. I know this season of anime they have Horimiya, who has essentially two different characters who are very much different outside of high school, and they then meet up with each other. Mind you, the male character in Horimiya is not very bright
No.
academically,
No,
but
no. He
in this
dumb like
particular regard,
brick.
it's just he's dumb. Dumb. He's not even on the top 50. Um,
No.
so it it's just really nice to see like the struggles of high school and being able to once again be kind of realizing like, hey, you're going to have that rival, and sometimes they don't recognize you as a rival, not because you're not good, but they're just trying to be themselves, and you find out their both of their struggles. I don't want to specifically spoil anything. I would highly recommend it if you do enjoy slice of life like high school coming of age animes, because you kind of see where these particular really popular animes and mangas now kind of stem from, because that was the first time that we were able to see these kind of dynamics where, oh, they have a different, instead of
Oh.
turning into a magical school like girl or
Mhm.
turning into like a a guy who can go into a mech, it's two high school students who are very different outside of school and realizing that isn't everything and trying to find their way, especially near the end, trying to realize that the pressures of high school can really cause some rifts and issues. But yeah, I know that's a very vague explanation, mostly because it's one. I think that it's really something that you should really experience yourself, but also just overall, it's super great. And
Oh,
it's all over the
I
place.
100%. I 100% agree, and really it is one of those blueprint shows for what modern romance is. I'd say that Maid Complex and like Fruits Baskets are really some of the blueprints for that style of show.
Yeah.
Oh god, the one where there's a height difference. I forgot the name of that. Shit.
Oh, Complex. Lovely Complex.
Lovely Complex, yes.
Yes, which I also love because I'm a tall girl and I understand that particular story very it hits close to home a little too much. But
Uh,
no, it's really cool to see that like you still see those elements, and when I watch things like Horimiya and even like Maid Sama and all these other different like rom-coms and also just even
Mhm.
drama romance, you kind of see those elements that stemmed from his or her circumstance. And it's always something I go back to, remembering like, man, when I was young and I thought that was like the most difficult thing, and then you're realizing like,
Oh, if you only knew.
if you only knew, little Fiona. Oh, if you only knew.
Oh, no, I completely understand that, and I think one of my favorite reasons why romance anime is one of my favorite genres and all that is the shows especially the older ones, the ones you grew up watching and all that, they become comfort food almost for you for when, like, you can go back to it and watch it, and that's the perfect segue to that anime I'm picking as my first one, which is Nana, a classic from 2006.
I love Nana. I'm sorry. I just oh my god, that was actually one of my top picks, but yeah, Nana's continue, please.
Oh, Nana was a show that I discovered, nearly, a decade ago now, and it's I believe they're 2021-ish, about that age, and
Mhm.
it is a fantastic story of 2 girls, both named Nana, and one is a musician, and just the trials and tribulations of their life, the romances they go in and out of, and it is just there's nothing like it. I've watched anime now for almost 2 decades, and there's never been a show for me that has come close to the feeling I get when I watch Nana.
Yeah.
And it's near impossible to find now because it was on Netflix for the longest time. Netflix had it forever, and now it's gone. But I recently brought this up. The reason I picked Nana was because it just got re-picked up by Sentai Filmworks to now be licensed and stuff to give into Crunchyroll. So it'll be accessible again after years.
Yes. Oh my god. It's so good.
And it is it has some of my favorite characters in anime.
Mhm.
The the more goth, edgy Nana is one of my all-time favorite characters. Just everything about her is fantastic. And then, oh god, what was his name? Noburo, the blonde-haired
Yeah.
guitarist for the band, is also just a fantastic character. I was not expecting you to have seen this one. I'm very happy you have.
Oh my god, I actually found this when I turned 21, and it was on Netflix, and I remember sitting down in the afternoon. I actually, like, was going through a breakup, and I was watching this anime, and I'm like, "This is fabulous." So I just continue to watch it, 100% an emotional roller coaster, but the music, phenomenal, and also in that time, I kind of, like, related to both Nanas because, obviously, I'm a very bubbly personality, but I also
Mhm.
like heavy metal music, and so it's just, like, seeing 2 sides of the same coin, and I related to both a lot, and just seeing how they were going through life, it was so good, but I listened to the album for that show all the time because the music just aged so well.
Did it? I have not watched or listened to the music from it in years now. I will have to do
It
that.
it's still so, so good, and the second you start hearing it again, you're like, "Oh my god."
Does it just take you back to that time?
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry to
That is
interrupt.
Yeah, no worries.
yes.
The voice in the ethos. We have Frank in the chat that says the pet girl of I don't even know how to pronounce this. Sakurasu is good romance. Does that make any sense to you guys?
Let me see.
Okay.
Am I about to look up hentai?
I'm hoping it's not, you know. He also asked the inevitable question that I also asked: does hentai count as a romance anime? And I told him
No.
I already asked. They said no. It's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
No.
This looks like trash.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I
This
don't.
looks like trash.
I don't know what it. I don't know what he's talking about. So I didn't want to. Yeah.
What did he specifically say?
He said
Soccer.
the pet girl of Sakurasu is good romance.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. No, I actually. I've heard good things about this, shockingly.
Okay. And also, Christian is also in the chat, and he says romance animes make me feel less lonely. And damn, that hits
Exactly.
real hard.
that hits close. That hits close and hard, my dude. Close and hard.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
God damn.
You know?
No, like I understand. Like I read romance manga consistently through high school. Mostly probably because of that. And it's also, man, God, it just like makes you feel like you're like with friends, and also just being able to
That's so
like
good.
live through someone else's romance that you're just like so cute, and you just want to. Some of them are less
What you
cute,
brought up
but
right now. What you brought up right now is a very good point, which is it lets you feel like your friend. Oh, that, and that's why I really like Nana. Is it feels like you're just watching a group of friends hang out and stuff. It's nothing is super over the top and all that. Like it's still this grungy bands and all that. And I do. Does that show have a weird time skip? I can't remember.
Yes, at the end, like
Yeah, because it goes like 10 years, right?
they do it in the manga a little bit more. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's a weird time skip if I remember correctly. It's been a hot minute since I watched Nana, mostly because, like you said, it's so hard to find Nana right now.
Oh, it's
But
impossible.
yeah, God. No, it's yeah, there is a weird time skip because there was a whole issue, like
I
obviously not gonna spoil it. Things happen, there's a time skip.
Mhm. I am going to give a caveat for Nana because I am, of course, here recommending it. Is
Yeah.
that the mangaka for it? She got very ill, and it was left on a massive cliffhanger for almost 10 years now. So this show has no closure. The where it ends and the anime and the manga are not good places. But
I'm laughing because
journey-
it's true.
the journey you take to get there is fantastic. Sometimes it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, and this show is about the journey. There's so many good parts in it. From them apartment shopping for like little knickknacks for their apartment and everything, and how that plays in later and all that. It's just fantastic.
It's so good. It's the oh man, it's definitely a trip. And I like the fact that it has like late 90s kind of art style in a way, in a late 20s, like my goodness, 2000s art. Like it's obviously updated, but you can still have that kind of style, and I think like rough edges that they kind of have in it, which I really like. But
Mhm. Oh, the way the at least now I'm remembering the way the manga was. It's that real classic shoujo art style of just humans don't have legs that are most of their body, but shoujo characters do.
their hands massive, like
Ah,
as
God.
some people say.
Do they have yaoi hand
Yeah, I was
syndrome?
gonna
Oh
say
my
they have
God, they
BL
do.
syndrome. Like that's exactly what it is. That's what like
Oh,
Triple X Holic has. Like if you've ever read like
oh, Triple X Holic. Good God.
oh man. Another highly recommend if you want to sit there and think about your life choices. Triple X Holic for sure. But yeah, the hands are like twice the size of the head, and they're just like, wow.
That, oh my god, I have not thought about that trash in years. There was that
Yeah.
whole era of when, oh god, what was the name of that company? It went completely under. Tokyo Pop.
Yeah.
When they just pumped out shoujo manga back in the mid 2000s.
Yeah. I definitely yeah, there was some good stuff, and then you found out they're all connected in some way, and that was Tsubasa, Card Capture, Triple X Holic, and then a bunch of other ones are all connected.
Oh, I'm not a fan of that, but okay.
Thumbs up.
Oh god. And with that knowledge now in hand, what is your second show for you?
Oh my god. This was, quite difficult for me because as you and I were talking before we started, I've been very much on a fantasy romance kick, which includes, Spice and Wolf, my god, Snow White with the red hair, The Ancient Magus Bride, which
Mhm.
absolutely phenomenal. Like, I would totally recommend watching that for anybody, but some people think it's a little bit weird because it's like a 500-year-old deity thing monster with like a wolf's head and a 16-year-old child, but I thought I would kind of go into a little bit of more realistic stuff, for a little bit.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with it's with Takoi, Love is Hard for an Otaku because it's
Yes.
so good. It is so fantastic. Also, one of the best openings for that particular season. So good. Yeah. Just like I
Oh,
love
it's
it so
so
much.
good.
Once again, it's a very lighthearted, romance, including 2 particular characters, who realize that, 1, they're both single, and they were high school friends, and he knows about her secret. Once again, her secret is specifically that she is a huge otaku. She loves anime. She actually creates, shoujos herself and does cosplay a little bit after she meets one of her other friends that's part of the 4, and he comes up with a proposition that they should date. And I chose this one in particular because it's really nice to see an adult anime, like, romance, not just like, "We're in high school, this is we're in our late 20s, and we're all, like, dating." Not the 4 of them aren't dating, like, as a quad. There's just 2 particular couples that the show follows. But it's very cute. It's very, once again, very relatable, especially as someone who likes to create artwork. And I think I was almost kind of like teetering between this and Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun because that one is about creating manga and romance. But I chose this one, it's because
What's
it's a little bit. Pardon, what's up?
a friend of mine in the chat actually brought up Nozaki-kun
Yeah, it's
in
so
there of just like shows, which is also just fantastic.
they're both fantastic. It's definitely a slow burn for both of them, but I would highly recommend both, honestly, interchangeably. One is specifically high school
Mhm.
related, and gonna be honest, for Monthly Girls, if you want to see a slow burn, that is you need to get deep into the manga for him to actually understand what the hell's happening.
That man is denser than a brick.
Oh my god. And I specifically chose Matakoi because there was a little bit more hope because he knew they were dating, even though he was still essentially a little bit dense. And then the other couple I also loved as well. It was just a cross, like, what is it? She specifically dressed up as male characters in anime and cosplay, and then had the main girl specifically dress up as a female counterpart. And it's just very, very cute. Um, yeah. I
No,
also was like also oh, continue.
Watercode, it has some of my favorite moments that felt just natural. Them going to Comiket felt fantastic. I love the whole scene of him holding down the fort at Comiket. The fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just it's one of those shows that just feels natural and good.
I also loved when they were like, I think there was an entire episode playing their online video game characters, and just it's so great and just so silly at the same time. Just like the amount of sheer like this is definitely like this is once again you're sitting in a room with a bunch of your friends hanging out as they watch anime or they're playing video games, and it was just a very nice lighthearted like slice of life that I specifically found during the pandemic. So it was really nice to be able to sit with a bunch of friends and specifically relate to these particular situations because the pandemic was really rough, guys. Like I almost chose Princess Jellyfish as my second choice, but
That's a good pick too.
it's so
You know what? You know what?
what's
We're
up?
doing good on time here. We're going to do 3. We're throwing an audible because I want to talk about Princess Jellyfish. That show's too good to not mention.
I'm so happy that you've watched it because the amount of people that have said Princess Jellyfish and they're like, what? It's so cute. It's honestly probably one of my favorites. And the only reason why I didn't specifically choose it is because I've watched my goodness, my goodness, Watakoi.
Watako?
Yeah, Watako.
Watakoi.
Yeah, it ends with an I. Why? I don't know.
Does.
But yeah,
Does.
Princess Jellyfish is super cute. It's about once again an otaku who is very awkward and lives in a home with a bunch of other women and there's no men allowed, and the whole premise is she's trying to save her house because a huge multi-million-dollar conglomerate is trying to take that particular home, bulldoze it, and be able to build their own apartment buildings there. In the process, she meets a very interesting character off the street one night while she was trying to save a jellyfish because she's absolutely obsessed with jellyfish because that was her favorite fish slash animal as a kid, and she relates to it because of her mother who recently passed away, which is also really sad. But she meets this particular woman and finds out very quickly that it's actually a man who likes to dress up as a woman, mostly because it just makes him happy, which I also really like.
Oh, it's some great representation there. Not
And
really played, not used poorly or anything, just well done.
Yeah, he is a guy who just likes dressing up, and his family, except for his brother, is super supportive, and mostly because his brother, he's not upset wearing women's clothing. He's just upset because he uses it to get out of situations because he thinks it makes people uncomfortable. So it's her up against this particular big company, and she finds out that he's actually related to people who are trying to bulldoze the company, not company, bulldoze her building. But it's very cute. It's a lot of female empowerment, and they eat cute seafood and enjoy themselves. And yeah, it's a bunch of like you get to make a bunch of great friends during this particular run. There's not overly too much romance in this. There's definitely it's considered a rom-com for a reason, but it's
I mean,
not
like, I
in the
definitely
forefront.
consider it a rom-com.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's just some people, I think mostly because Western culture, when it comes to romance, it's just like they need to be sleeping with each other first episode, or they need to be making out or kissing.
Oh, you need to be
But
slapped in your face with it in the West. The Japanese are a bit
yeah,
more calm with it.
in the East, like you see them holding hands on the 15th episode, and you are screaming because you
Oh,
are so happy.
I thought to go back to Watako for a second. I thought that
Yeah.
show when I first watched it because I heard about it on like I was checking the the seasonal anime list, keeping up, doing what I do. And I was like, oh, that sounds up my alley because I just watched MMO Junkie. And
Mm.
I'm like, okay. And I thought this was going to be a slow burn of a show. I'm like, they work together. They're not going to know they're talkers till like episode 5. And it was like, bam, first episode of a day. I'm like, we're speed running this. This is going to be this
Yeah,
kind of
that's
show.
considered a speed run. But I don't think they like actually like kiss until like the very end. And it's not even like too much. But you're
No.
still like freaking out. Like when it
Yeah.
comes to Monthly Girls, like the entire anime series, she's trying to tell him that she loves him and he gives her an autograph constantly. She's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
I love you.
Maybe
like,
best
okay.
use of the firework cucking because God, the fireworks in that one.
The fireworks. Oh my god. I'm so angry.
And with that, I'm going to go into my next show I want to talk about,
Hell yeah.
which is Kasagakiri, which is
Kasagakiri.
Have you seen this?
I don't know. What is the English title for it?
I honestly don't know.
Nice.
Let me look that up real quick.
I feel like I know what this is, but
You have an English name. Translated as The Moon So Beautiful.
the moon. So
As the Moon So Beautiful.
As the Moon So Beautiful. I don't think I've seen this. I have not seen this.
Ooh, I get to pitch it to you then. This will
Heck
be
yeah.
fun.
Tell me about this.
This is a coming of age tale, as I'd put it, of first love, where it is middle schoolers going into freshman year of high
Okay.
school, first discovering love, the first relationship you ever have, where you think it'll last forever, but you realize it won't. That whole kind of thing, and just the trials and tribulations of that. This show is extremely grounded. No, nothing over the top. No shenanigans. It is just a slice of life straight taken of basically these kids' first romance and all that, and it is a fantastic show.
Oh my god, that sounds so good. What?
Oh, it's really good.
The
They are
artwork
just
looks phenomenal.
Oh, it is utterly gorgeous. There is the most outrageous thing in the entire show is there's a blonde-haired character with pink highlights. That's about as hardcore as the show gets.
Whoa.
With different things. But it's really just like all those like little first things, like winning a stuffed animal at the fair, all that kind of stuff, all that. And it just, unlike a lot of what we were talking about, the earlier ones, especially like your first one you picked and everything, where it was all those blueprints and stuff.
Yeah.
Getting built there, which I'm okay with that and everything. A lot of shows we've talked about today are very unique in themselves into the world of romance anime.
Yeah.
They carve down a niche, which is rare for most romance animes. Usually they fall into one of the tropes. But this show does a really good job of niching its own path of this is this story. It's nothing else. There's no gimmick. It's just the two kids grew up near each other. Here's them going into high school, falling in love. That's it.
Which sometimes, like, that's what you want. Like, yeah, there's thousands of animes that have, like, a niche to it or, like, something that's out of the realm of normal, but sometimes you just wanna sit down and watch something that's relatable. So I completely like, I'm on board. Like, really enjoy stuff like that.
And then so yeah, that's my pitch for that show.
Mhm.
And then since we switched it to 3, I'm bringing one more. My all-time favorite anime. My
Mhm.
go-to for gotta watch it every year on Christmas Eve, Toradora. My favorite romance anime of all time.
I'm gonna be honest with you, that's on my watch list. I have not watched it.
You have not seen Toradora? Oh my god.
I know, like, I'm very aware how good it is. Like, it looks amazing, and I have it on like, I know it's on Netflix. Like, it's on my Netflix watch.
It's there. It's right there.
So, yeah, believe me, that's something I would have preferred to watch over something else that I watched recently, which I'm more than happy to talk about, but please tell me about Toradora.
I will talk about Toradora quickly, and then we can go into whatever you want to rant about, because I do love a good rant. Toradora is the story of 2 misfits falling in love and not realizing it, and it is perfect. It has one of the best tsunderes in anime with Taiga.
Yeah.
Ryuji is fantastic. Everything about it is just it's one of those it's one of those blueprint shows
Mhm.
for the whole way it is and everything. It's just one of the classics, and I definitely recommend it for anyone who hasn't seen it. Even a couple of my friends who not big romance anime people have loved Toradora when they've watched it. It's just good. Now,
Yeah.
we just talked about one of, in my opinion, the best romance animes. What show did you watch that you did not like?
I'm gonna get canceled for saying
Oh,
this,
I
by the
can't
way.
wait.
I'm gonna just take a sec. This is what I usually do when I have to do a hot take.
Oh, I'm ready for it.
Um, so this is on Netflix. This is considered one of the most beloved romance animes of all time, and I cannot get past. Like, I watched 5 episodes. I'm not down, and I'm gonna probably try to watch it. Clannad.
Give it to me.
I
Oh. Oh no.
I know. I can't get
Oh
into
no.
it. How Ryan's anime podcast gets canceled.
What is it?
I Clannad.
It had a good
Um,
run.
it is what it's honestly like if every like romance anime fan has a top 10 list, Clannad is usually like on that list. It is not on my list.
It's top 5 usually.
It is not my cup of
Now,
tea.
here's the interesting about Clannad that
Yeah.
I will bring up is Clannad is good.
Mhm.
The first one, Clannad After Story,
Yeah.
is immaculate. That is the good part of Clannad.
That's what I've heard.
You have to power through the bad of Clannad to get to After Story, because After Story is where the tears come.
But the eyes. I'm sorry. Yeah.
You're like me. You're a vintage otaku. You should be able to get through the Moe of 2007.
You would assume because I really liked Fruits Basket, and we all know what Fruits Basket 2001 looked like. But I don't know. Like,
Fruits Basket 2001.
I tried. I was trying my best. The characters confuse the crap out of me because you were introduced to not like 1 or 2 characters. The first episode, you're introduced to like 8 characters that you're all supposed to remember. And all the females have these eyes that take up 90% of their face. And the main like female, she's talking to herself, which once again, you know how I feel about people talking to themselves just randomly like Aaron Attack on
You're not
Titan.
a fan of
And
it.
she's just standing out and then just like the main like in protagonist, he's all over the place. And it's just I will power through it because I've heard nothing but like, I've heard good things about Clannad, but like, it's ranged from, like, good to, like, it's the best romance anime of all time, and even when people specifically, like, talk negatively about Clannad online, you get hate. Like, you are,
Oh, yeah,
like,
I
criminal.
I'll be honest with you. I was expecting you to when you started this saying that I have a hot take. I was expecting you to dislike Toradora. That was my expectation. I was like, there's a
No,
few
I
anime
was so
it could
scared.
be. I'm like, I was not expecting. I was expecting your name. I could see you disliking your name. There's a lot of things I expected, but this
No.
one is surprising.
Yeah, it's a spicy take. It's just I didn't feel a connection to the characters very fast. Usually I want to have some sort of connection within the first few episodes. And I think it was one of those things where I knew that there was other anime going to enjoy over top of it. So I just was like, I'm gonna just put this on pause. I'll try to get back to it because I've heard nothing but amazing things about After Story because it's more relatable because they're outside of high school. And I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna have to try to power through it. But that's essentially my hot take is I at this point I Clannad. I don't know. I don't know what you want from me, guys. Like
Okay. I accept it. I
yeah.
get it. Have you tried any of their other shows
I just want
of
to
like that era?
Yeah.
butt in and say that this ran on TBS television, so how good of an anime could it possibly have been?
TBS makes a
Um
bunch of anime in Japan. That's not that rare.
Okay. Never mind then.
That's what
it's
TBS in Japan just makes anime.
yeah. It's definitely a everyone loves it. Like it's on there if you decide like you go into a room full of people Attack on Titan and just say, like, I don't like Levi, and then you get murdered. Like
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. No, this is a hot take.
this is a
A
hot like this is
scolding. Hands are burning.
yeah.
But have
I
you seen like canon or really any Kyoto works?
I I may have in the past. Definitely read some manga, but it's I think I would have enjoyed it when I was in high school because they would have been a little bit more relatable at that particular point. But and I think that's also why I like Fruits Basket. I was able to kind of like overcome some of the characters because like Honda's a little bit difficult to like assume because of how much he's just like everything is perfect and everything is great. And then we did see like in Fruits Basket Part 2 that came out last year, I think, or the year
This
before,
year.
where she was definitely yeah,
Last year.
she was more yeah, because the
Mhm.
final season starts in April.
Yes.
She seemed a lot more realistic in season 2, whereas when we first watched Fruits Basket, she wasn't really like she was everything is great, everything is dandy, and then that was the end. But then season 2 of Fruits Basket, the new version, you see her like going through stuff, whereas some of the characters in Clannad, they're either way over the top or they're just I find the main female protagonist a little bit whiny
I can
and a little bit
definitely see
confusing.
where I I 100% see where you're coming from. But when
Am
I
I
think
right?
of
No.
the anime that really shaped like my like love of anime and everything,
Yeah.
Clanad's there. It's Clanad, it's K-On, it's really a lot of Kyoto works and everything.
Yeah.
Watching
I
things that weren't shown in anime, where I veered
yeah.
off was when that 2006 to 2009 era of real moe, like Lucky Star and all that was running the
Yeah.
Reb.
See, I think
So
I went into another, like, lane because I watched, like, You're in High School Host Club, and then I watched.
Oh, you were so close. You could have veered. You could have veered from
But-
your Orin High School host the clan ad. The roadmap's there.
But do you know
I
what-
can see the route.
but
I
do you-
took it.
But do you know what? Instead, I went to Maid Sama and Vampire Night.
Oh no! I was hoping I could go this whole podcast run without having to talk about Vampire Night.
You know you can't.
I wanted the dream, Fee. I wanted the dream.
I'm sorry. For anyone who wants to know, Vampire Night was the Japanese equivalent to Twilight, which included incest in the anime. In the manga, we find out that he's not actually her brother.
I forgot that was only said in the manga.
The anime made her like they said it was her brother, and then she had a relationship with him. But in the manga, they then corrected it and said that you know what, they're not actually brother and sister. But yeah, that anime. I'm gonna be honest. Some of the best opening and closings in anime, but the content in between, it was not a champ.
Oh no, it's oh god. And you said one of my other favorites in that though. Maid Sama is so good.
I love Maid Sama.
But-
I watched it the other day.
But Vampire Night- does it hold up? I need to know if Maid Sama holds up.
Maid Sama doesn't really as much.
Oh damn it.
I'm gonna be honest. But I'm also definitely a dark-haired protagonist, like male protagonist, more than a blonde. And
I get you.
He just-
I feel.
he just didn't hit it. Like, I could talk about my love for Horneo right now because fantastic. Dark-haired male protagonist lead, chef's kiss. And then I think the rest
Who?
of the
You cut out for who you said that
Oh.
was.
Horimiya, like the
Oh, I get it. Oh, I understand.
and then if you
A golf icon.
I think the only anime I specifically mentioned, romance anime that I mentioned that didn't have the main male being like dark hair or like black hair was Princess Jellyfish, and her like his brother had black hair, and she went on a date with him. So I mean, here we are.
It works. It's how we got here. And
Yeah.
with that, we get to the last segment of the second to last segment of the show before plugs and all that fun stuff.
Mhm.
We get to my manga corner where I recommend a manga every 2 weeks. There's not enough people read manga anymore, and I am sad about that. And this week's manga is going to be the manga for oh god, time to look up how to say it. You know what? We're just gonna go with the American title, which is I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, which is
I've heard nothing but
a-
good things, but continue.
oh, it is phenomenal. It is in anime form. It is a movie. It's also been turned into a. So I recommend reading the manga.
Ryan, you're gonna have to
It has
say
some
that
of the
again.
best art.
You got cut out.
It was originally a novel, to then a manga, to then an anime.
Yeah.
And I recommend the manga because it is just if you like Your Lie in April but want more that's what I'm looking for here. Character development on each side because they were very stagnant in Your Lie. I would heavily recommend this. It's akin to the same type of story, so it's a tearjerker. Bring the tissues with you when you go to read this. You're gonna be crying. And yeah, just give it a shot. Either read it or if you want to, watch the movie because always anime movies are just out of this world.
Yes.
That is my recommendation of the week.
Fantastic.
And with that, we get to plugs. where can people find you? What are you
People
up
can
to?
find me on Twitch and Twitter at Ceranix, which is up here, I believe.
Yeah,
That's correct.
Am
Yeah.
I
there.
Yes. Perfect. I'm really good at that. I am also on Point in Progress podcast. We talk about nerdy news, hot takes, and everything that we like to talk about, and make sure that we are thinking critically of it. And I also talk about randomly throughout the podcast animes that relate to the topic that we're talking about and make my co-hosts mad because they're tired of listening to me talking about anime. Um, you also find here on this channel as I talk about Attack on Titan, the final season, and I am getting the romance anime has been really helping with that Attack on Titan depression. So thumbs up.
Oh, if it wasn't for Horimiya this season, I would be in a dark, sad place. That and Skate the
I
Infinite are keeping me going.
I just wish that Horimiya was on Mondays rather than on Saturdays because I'm just like all hyped up because I'm like, it's romance day. And then it's just like
Then it's depression hour.
You can't win. You just can't win.
No, I definitely agree. And you can find me at the somewhere
No,
up here
Left shoulder.
at
Right,
Ryan
left
the
shoulder.
Lion, right shoulder.
No, your left shoulder. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, Ryan the Lion 3055 on Twitter for anime hot takes and many other things. And you can also find me right here for what also feeds on Attack on Titan and many other things.
Heck yeah.
And with that concludes this episode of Anime Nation. Thanks for watching.